silent deep canyon opens below, rocky and calm, with cold clarity and drifting marine particles. Rocks and pebbles sit sharp in clear water, and tiny silt puffs drift across the seabed.
4 to 5 giant squid cruise together, tentacles trailing, calm and untouched, with no gear anywhere in view.
A close pass shows a squid eye and mantle, while the small group drifts behind, unhooked and calm.
Crew stages coil tubs and hauler controls, keeping hands clear while heavy braided line feeds smoothly. Heavy squid hooks and swivels line the station, built for abrasion and long soak times in deep water. Bait strips get rigged with consistent wraps, keeping presentation stable while branch lines drop through currents. Strict spacing stays enforced around rollers and pinch points, even as the deck stays wet and rolling. Crew slices large bait strips and rigs squid hooks carefully, keeping hands clear of rollers and spray. Branch lines coil into clean loops, preventing tangles when tension spikes later during hauling cycles with calm pacing and natural movement only. Landing gear and tank clamps get checked for load paths, keeping handling controlled when squid come aboard.
Braided branch lines clip on and drop in steady cadence, keeping the set smooth and untangled at the stern.
Seabed detail holds steady in clear darkness, building tension while the bottom stays undisturbed with calm pacing and natural movement only.
The squid school drifts over rocks with gentle fin pulses, keeping formation and showing no sign of capture.
A marker buoy splashes beside the hull, tracking the set as wake ripples spread outward in gray water.
The set completes cleanly, and coil tubes stay organized for a safe and fast retrieval later.
One squid turns above pebbles with calm curiosity, while the rest of the group arcs behind in clear darkness. Pale mantles glide over dark rocks, untouched, as clear water reveals every slow tentacle movement. Giant squid silhouettes cross faint light shafts, then fade into darker water with no gear visible anywhere.
Night checks confirm tubs and lash points stay secure, keeping the system ready for hauling at first light.
Giant squid drift toward bait above rocks, and slack branch line begins to straighten in cold, clear water. A grenadier pecks first and slips away, and the hook swings while gravel silt puffs rise and settle. 2 squid crowd the bait zone, arms extended, pushing smaller fish aside in a slow, tense hover. The hook catches at an arm base, and the leader snaps taut, turning a calm hover into sudden force. A hooked squid jets hard and throws ink, mantle pulsing as the leader stays tight in the cold water.
Thrashing spins the squid, yet swivels stay aligned and the leader remains tight with zero slack.
The squid gets dragged above the seabed, arms flaring and jetting hard as silt plumes trail behind. Tension lifts the hooked squid upward, arms flaring, hook visible, leader tight as ink trails behind.
The hauler turns at controlled speed, maintaining constant pressure so hooks stay seated during pulls. A near-surface boil reveals the squid and hook point as the taut leader cuts through gray foam.
A sling supports the mantle at the tuna door, keeping hook and leader visible, while ink spray stays controlled.
Arms flail across wet mats, and rope control keeps distance while the squid jets water in short bursts.
Squid settles into an aerated tank, and heavy bubbles churn as circulation keeps water moving.
Fresh bait and chafe sleeves go on quickly, restoring the longline system for another deep cycle.
A red ring jelly pulses slowly near rocks, adding calm contrast between heavy hauling cycles. A 6-gill shark glides past at distance, steady and quiet, never approaching the bait zone. A small squid group glides above pebbles, calm and unhurried, with clear water showing every fin pulse.
Squid drift with jellies as distant shark and whale silhouettes pass above, calm and unhurried in deep water.
Tank hoses and clamps get checked, keeping circulation steady and preventing slosh as the vessel rolls.
2 squid close on bait near rocks, and a smaller fish darts between them as tension starts to build.
The hook catches at the arm base, and the leader tightens hard as the squid turns away from rocks. Violent jetting throws ink and turbulence, and the leader stays tight while hardware stays clearly visible.
Foam boils beside steel platting as the hooked squid holds under the surface, leader tight and visible.
A sling lifts the mantle through the tuna door, and controlled ropes keep arms from sweeping the deck.
2 squid strike together, and both leaders snap tight, starting a double hookup above the rocky seabed.
Opposing jets and ink clouds churn the water, yet swivels keep leaders separated under constant tension.
Swell grows and the bow pitches, while scuppers pour water and the hull stays steady in open ocean. Hauler speed changes gradually, and braced crew guides braided line while keeping spacing strict around rollers.
2 squid rise together under foam, hook points visible, as twin taut leaders angle beside steel plating.
A twin landing brings 2 squid to the tuna door, and ropes control arms while leaders stay tight.
Both squid thrash on wet mats, ink splashing, while rope control keeps distance and movement contained.
2 squid lower into the aerated tank, and levee bubbles churn as arms drift and curl naturally. Bait prep stays fast, and branch lines drop again while spray rises and the deck keeps rhythm.
3 squid converge at once, and 2 hooks catch cleanly while a third slips off the bait in turbulence. 2 hooks squid jet and spin under load, and visible hardware stays aligned with no slack anywhere.
Heavy chop slams the hull as twin taut leaders hold, and squid bodies roll under foam beside plating.
A rolling transfer lifts 1 squid and guides a second, keeping arms roped and leaders controlled in spray.
A tola pulses near rocks, and the calm glow contrasts with violent surface hauling in rising seas. A distant whale silhouette crosses far above, adding scale while the canyon stays dark and still below. Another squid takes bait and gets hooked, jetting hard as the leader stays tight and silt lifts off rocks.
Foam hides and reveals the taut leader as the hooked squid surges tight to steel plating in heavy chop.
Arms sweep and curl across wet mats, and rope control plus spacing keeps the deck safe and disciplined.
Squid settles into bubbling water, and ink disperses as circulation keeps the tank stable in roll.
Storm swell peaks and the hull drops, while scuppers pour water and the ship holds course.
A second double hookup hits, and 2 leaders snap tight as both squid jet violently in clear darkness.
Both hooked squid get dragged upward, ink trailing, while chafe sleeves and swivels stay clearly visible.
2 squid arrive together under the surface, hook points visible, with twin taut leaders beside the hull.
Twin landing continues at the tuna door, and ropes control arms while the sling supports mantle weight.
Both squid thrash and jet water, ink splashing, while crew clears pinch points and keeps strict spacing.
Multiple squid drift inside the aerated tank, bubbles churning as circulation keeps water moving in heavy roll. Hook rebaiting continues under storm spray, and branch lines drop again while the system cycles quickly.
A 6-gill shark glides past at distance, steady and quiet, never approaching the active lines.
The hooked squid gets dragged along the slope, arms flaring and jetting hard as silt plumes trail behind. The squid breaks under the surface, and the taut leader stays visible beside the hull through swirling foam.
A sling lifts the mantle through the tuna door, and hook plus leader remain visible as arms get controlled.
Powerful arm bursts hit the mats, and ropes prevent sweeping strikes, while spacing stays strict and safe.
The squid lowers into bubbling water, and clamps close as hoses pulse circulation for short, controlled holding.
A larger wave lifts the bow and drops it hard, while scuppers dump water in sheets down plating.
A final surge brings 2 hooked squid and a third clinging briefly before the current tears it away.
Foam hides and reveals twin taut leaders as 2 squid hold under the surface, hook points visible in rough chop.
Twin haul hits the mats with thrashing and jetting, and rope control keeps the deck disciplined and safe.
Several squid lower into the aerated tank, and churning bubbles keep them moving without piling or twisting.
Haulers strain peaks under load, and braced crew guides braided line with strict spacing to protect hands.
Jelly pulses in clear darkness near rocks, creating a brief, calm beat between hauling surges.
A last hooked squid jets and spins under tension, ink streaming as chafe sleeves protect the leader.
Taut leader slices foam beside the hull as the squid surges, hook point still visible near the arm base.
Sling and ropes control the mantle and arms, and quick rinse keeps ink from turning the deck slick.
The hull ends with tanks bubbling and gear strapped down, while washdown clears ink and salt from deck.
Seas ease slightly, and the hull runs onward, scuppers draining as foam streaks aft in gray water.
Crew secures hooks and tubs, then checks tank clamps, preparing for clean processing without rushing.
Crew celebrates beside a piled catch of giant squid, mantles aligned and arms straight, while gray seas roll behind.
A wide deck view shows stacked squid and a bubbling tank, with tired crew raising fists briefly.
Seawater hoses rinse ink off mantles and arms, keeping bodies straight and the deck controlled and clean.
Whole squid go into ice slurry totes, and clamped lids plus straps lock in rapid chilling and stability.
Arms get folded neatly along mantles, preventing tangles, while chilling stays fast and consistent with calm pacing and natural movement only.
Insulated totes stack on pallets, and a sealed tote lifts cleanly with no labels or text visible.
Tools and deck get cleaned, and hoses coil away while ocean spray stays visible beyond the rail.
The hull runs into calmer water, scuppers draining steadily as the operation heads toward shore.
Whole squid rest on crushed ice at a waterfront market, mantles intact and arms arranged neatly for sale. A vendor lifts a squid by the mantle to show size, then sets it back gently on clean ice.
Hands exchange a sealed bag quickly, and the stall keeps moving with efficient, quiet transactions.
Fresh ice gets shoveled over the catch, and meltwater drains away while the display stays clean. A quick trim cleans the presentation, and neat technique keeps the counter tidy and professional. Ice and water beads highlight mantle texture, showing natural color and freshness without any theatrical lighting. Buyers inspect the catch by touch and nod, and the waterfront background adds realism and scale. Whole squid pack into a cooler with ice, and the lid closes firmly to protect cold chain. A rinse clears the counter and ice gets raked back, keeping the stall clean for the next rush. Sunset light hits the waterfront as crates stack and coolers move out, closing the market day quietly.
A final close holds on a single squid on ice, mantle centered and arms arranged with clean symmetry.
Cooler closes and hands wipe clean, ending the haul with a calm, practical market finish.